All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We managed to grab the winner of the previous series. We got Cyril joining us here with his, is that your esports jersey?
Yeah.
Looks pretty slick. I like the colors. We were talking a little bit during the break. Let me just move this over since you're a bit, whoops, wrong way. We're talking a little bit while we're waiting for the commercials to end about that series, and you mentioned you're a little bit scared at some points. What were the scariest parts of that for you? Because that was still a 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, the first game, I guess, I thought I lost the one after the... It was a slight mistakes from me with my bailing control, and it just basically with on links won my link bane, so slight mistakes, and I thought I lost the game after the links got into my mineral lines, but I think he followed up with too many links. If he just followed up with drones, he would have been fine, I think.
Game one, I think it was. There was a lot of like baneling snipes going off. Like he was trading out a lot of like 2 links for 1 banelings. I don't play ZvT. I'm not going to pretend like I know how that works. But is that like really stressful trying to avoid those things, or do you just look at them and be like, yeah, that's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean it's stressful, but I think it's pretty easy. Should be to be able to not lose those banelings. But I don't know. I think I traded fairly good, to be honest. But he just had too many links.
Well, actually, speaking of that too, you for game 1 and 2 were on the defensive. Then game 3, you actually got to get aggressive. That early pull came down. We're actually worried maybe he was AFK when the game started, right? No drones getting built. What was the decision there to make you say like, look, I'm gonna pay him back with like a 12 pull?
I don't know. I just like felt like I have been playing pool first like 2 games now, so I'm thinking that he's not gonna go 13-12 at least, and I'm pretty sure he's not gonna go pool first against me. So he's gonna go heads first.
So it was like a calculated risk then.
Yeah, I was fine with. If I lost that game, then that's it.
Okay. I mean, you're up 2-0 in the series, right?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of moments in that game where we were actually talking on the cast. Were you doing a lot of manual detonations with the banelings?
Yeah, you need to do. I do pretty much always manual detonation. I think it just gets better results.
So is that like if you're a Zerg player, that's something you should look to get better at, like manual detonations, you feel?
Yeah, at least in CVC. In CVP, not so much, but...
There's not a lot of times where I think it's too noticeable, but it was definitely kind of cool watching you because, yeah, the couple missed, but some got really good hits with it too. I think a lot of the players we cast, even just the Koreans, we don't really see a lot of manual control on those detonations.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I guess just what happened, I sometimes exploit banelings for no reason, so that might be the reason why they're not using it so much. But
who was it? There's like Lambo or something, like an IEM detonated like 40 banelings, right? Just don't go that far.
Yeah, I'm not going to go that far.
All right, man. Well, do you have any shout-outs you want to give before you take off?
Yeah, shout out to my team, and to my fans.
All right, man. Hey, good luck with the games today. We're doing the fist bump. Hey, you want to do a handshake too? There we go. Less awkward. Good luck with the games. We're going to go set up for iAsonu versus Major. So thanks for taking a moment to talk with us, and we'll see you in a little bit, man. Good luck. All right, Zombie up. She's not coming to take the headset. I'll grab it. It's fine. All right. See you in a bit, dude. All right, folks. You want to see why she's not paying attention? She's flirting with her girlfriend. God. Looks like they're having a fight. You don't pay enough attention to me. All right. I'm just teasing. We're going to get this next series up here in a moment. We'll fix the camera angles and all that stuff. Like we said, it's Major versus iAsonu. We actually have the series maps ready to go. And the first one's going to be Abyssal by the looks of it. So get this hosted up. Yeah, he's a little bit quiet. Yeah, unfortunately, Cyril's just quiet in general, guys. I actually, in the middle of the interview, like turned up the mic and it was still kind of on the low side. Not a lot I can really do about that if he's just gonna be a quiet speaker. But hey, solid as dub. Thank you for the 2,000 bits, dude. Let me give you some special love for that in a second. I'm trying to get the lobby up in the meantime. I gotta make sure I got all the casters and all the players in here too. But solid as dub. Thank you very much, man. I'm just gonna stare at the number up till she's
Where's the gold? It's downstairs. I'll say stuff like that too.
Y'all done? You guys having a good time over there?
I didn't know if you were going to go to commercial break after the interview or not.
No. You can't even run commercials unless it's been like 8 minutes.
I don't know. I'm so used to having so much delay.
Quit distracting my caster. Get out of here. Go on, shoot. Do you even have a badge to be in here, honestly?
What the fuck happened to our camera?
Oh, I had to move it for Cyril because he's taller than you. I'm just teasing. I love Annie. Okay, so this series coming up. iAsonu is a player. IA. What do you prefer calling him for this one?
iAsonu?
Yeah, I've always called him iAsonu, but then you hear all the casters like on the main stage always call him just IA. And I've wondered, I don't actually know if that's like the consolation of giving up because they don't know how to say the rest of it, or if that's actually his name. And it's like Major and SpeCial where he's changed it but didn't change it, you know?
I don't know.
know. I think I
I'm
just
gonna. I'm gonna ask him. iAsonu, is it just I? Oops.
I mean, I don't think he's gonna understand though.
There we go.
I is okay.
All right, we'll go with it. We're just waiting for Caster 2. Actually, let me just yell at the admin real quick. Yo, Stajo, where's Caster A? Good guys. I love Stajo. So he's literally like, he's just sitting there eating, and instead of like going around, he just like lunges over like an Olympic athlete, like the barriers.
You're tall. Why not?
I guess you've got the legs for it, sure.
I can't do that.
But I only mention it because it's late here. Australia, turn it up too loud. Richmond's voice is booming. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, guys. It's just Cyril's
pretty quiet.
He's just a quiet
like
dude.
That's the difference.
Yeah, I actually turned. I was mentioning I turned the mic up during the interview and unfortunately couldn't make it go any higher. But anyways, again, thank you, Solid Stuff, for the 2,000 bits. Current bit boss. I'm gonna bet you $1 million this breaks when we swap scenes around.
Well,
I hope it doesn't though, because we do appreciate it.
Did he say it was? Well, I guess it's supposed to be a Yankee exploit. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I don't know, man.
Whoops, I'm on the wrong account. I need to log into BaseTrade and
So
tweet
it's like
what we're getting to next.
I mean, it's a good thing, but it's also like a bad thing when I'm trying to listen to the interviews that you're doing, because it's a good thing that you can't hear beyond like a foot, so that if people are standing behind players, the players aren't being distracted. But I tried to listen on the interview a little bit, and I couldn't hear anything. And not just from Cyril, because he's quiet, but also from you. Just with the bass in the background, and the casters, and just like general chit-chat, it's so hard.
Hey, I know Major's ready. SpeCial, excuse me, actually I was asking him this too, extending him the courtesy that we're giving IA here, asking if you prefer Major or SpeCial, but I guess he actually wants to be called SpeCial.
It's so hard, though. Like
it is, because for years he's been Major, but you know what? If Salvation can make the change to Forte, I fully believe Major can make the transition to SpeCial.
Well, it's like one of those things, though, where IA is like a part of his name, so it's more like just like you can say that because you're probably going to pronounce the other thing wrong, like Snoot, right?
You're condensing it, yeah.
But like Major turning into SpeCial kind of reminds me a little bit of Scarlet turning to a. What was she going to do?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
and then, like,
I remember there's that phase.
Like, asked like one time, Shura, that's what it was, and then like the rest was like, never mind, I don't care.
Well, yo, Panic Switch just dethroned the boss, knocking him down.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for those bits, dude. It's all Swift Rages, so the passion is real. Thank you, Panic Switch. We're getting into game number 1 of a brand new best of 5, though. Ladies and gentlemen, like we just said, he'd prefer to be known by his new alias. In the bottom right, the player formerly known as Major, it's SpeCial.
In the upper left is the Red Zerg. It is IA.
I just realized, like, mate, this might not be the best name. It's like, he's special.
I know. It's a little curious. I mean, wouldn't you just want to be upgraded to like a general? You know, you're gonna change your name, just upgrade.
Oh, Major.
Like
I see.
Squirtle to
rankings.
Squirtle to
War Turtle.
War Turtle. There you go. I was gonna say Charmander. I think it doesn't.
Squirtle to Charmander. Leave. Go back to hanging out with Annie. I don't want you here if you're gonna be that kind of person.
I know, right? And just especially when we're talking about Major, man, or SpeCial, you just slap me down talking shit about Pokemon.
Yeah, actually, we were talking about this yesterday too. He had that little Pokemon doll. He was like literally fanning himself.
Yeah,
with.
which makes no sense. You just can't. You can't. So yeah.
Well, so what's kind of cool is we're getting a chance to do post-game interviews with some of the players, and that's awesome. And I know the fans loving it, but I would love if we could do pre-game interviews, even if it's just one of them, to get their thoughts on like what the series is going to look like. Because for us, again, iAsonu, whatever you want to refer to him as, he's a player that actually I think at the start of Heart of the Swarm is someone I admired, but then fell off, got kind of, I guess, secluded to the Chinese scene, and we haven't seen a lot of him. He pops up for WC events here and there, but I can't tell you how he's playing right now. Does he like Roach Ravager like Snoot and Urchio? Does he like Ling Bang Muta? Maybe he's got a 2-base Muta game time build up his sleeve. I don't know.
Yeah. Any knowledge that they have of these players are really based off pretty old games, back when I guess Roddy was hyping them up.
Oh, jeez.
Big China fanboy. But that was a long time. That was like a seriously long time. That was like NASL, so like 3 or 4 years at this point in time. So that's obviously not really worth talking about. And otherwise, they don't really participate in a lot of online cups because of the whole lock basically. We have Time and Cloudy showcasing what they could be showing because they're in Korea, participating in the cups. But otherwise, these guys that we're seeing now, it's really only when the WCS Challenger stuff happens, which is cool. But it also means it's going to be surprising. But we know a lot about SpeCial, and we know that he's good. He shows up, and everyone's always saying that they're scared of facing him.
Well, what's cool is he's just, of course, come back from Korea. He's got a lot of good training over there. He qualified for GSL Season 2. Ooh, that's going to suck losing the Reaper. But I want to note that he's also shown some really weird things lately in terms of maybe even willing to play mech given the right circumstances. I don't imagine he pulls that out in a WCS match, but it's just worth noting we've seen him comfortably play it.
Yeah, he can be a little weird with his play style. I think that has been pretty consistent for the last 7 years. I think he's played that long. I don't know where he really started, but the point is, like, it's not just one of those things where he tried it out because it was the beginning of Legacy of the Void. Like, no, even out of the Swarm when it was pretty, like, meta-defined, he was doing some weird stuff, either in playstyle or in builds. But right now, it's looking very normal. He's got the Hellion opener into, looks to be Hellion drops with a Wood of Mine. This is not the most normal opener you can get, but I'm saying that it's not, you know, too out of the world. Out of this world, and it's kind of usual now, I think, for factory openers to be more of the standard as opposed to the barracks opener, which was definitely the standard for a long time. Roach Warren is being put down by iAsonu. I was going to say, from what I remember, I feel like the Zerg players of China do like their roaches, but this is, again, based off of very old information, so I wasn't sure if that was entirely true. But it's not surprising if that is still the case, because it's, you know, roaches are still very viable in Legacy of the Void.
So speaking of like our knowledge of the Chinese scene, I want to give a small shout out to Leifang, by the way. This guy recently set up a house in Korea. He's housing some of the Chinese players, helping them train. But last year, he ran the Leifang Cup, and it was a place specifically for folks like iAsonu and Maxed and Rush Crazy and all those guys to play against the Koreans and get the best practice possible. So, like, we to be clear, it's not like it's been 3 years since we've seen any of these dudes play, but it's been a bit of time.
Whoopsie.
Wood of Mine's actually getting off. I can't believe he got 6 kills on the one with the drones, and of course a couple lings on the other. Now, Special's gonna be running with these Hellions. There's no third base over here though. Yeah,
that could have maybe been a couple more drones toasted, but really there wouldn't even be that many there anyways.
Yeah, the timing's a little bit early, a little bit ripe.
Yeah, Asuna is getting some, or IA is getting some pretty fast lair here, not a ton of drones, and in fact they're even on workers after that Wood of Mine drop. It really just sucked though, because IA was clearly acknowledged that was going to happen. He had lings there. He was building a Spore Crawler, and he just barely couldn't even kill that one Wood of Mine. It felt probably pretty terrible for him. Yeah, Medevac's almost dead, though.
So. That's what I was going to say. The Medevac being barely alive, that's a little bit scary, too. But, oh, this is so risky.
It is, yeah. And the off chance that I was not looking, there is a lot of space on Abyssal that's not even covered by creep, so you might not want to bring your queen over there. But it's on top of things.
This was so cool. I mean, for this land event, there's no map hacking, all right? But that was some sick game sense to realize the Overlord saw this coming, so it just wouldn't have been worth it. Yeah. Looks like another Wood of Mine went off over here, so we're looking at the Hellions.
It's the Raven, I think, caught a turret.
Oh, was it? Okay, there you go, yeah.
The Wood of Mine was placed off to the left, and it is being cleaned up now by an Overseer. I mean, that lair, as I said, was pretty well timed for, I guess, specifically a Wood of Mine drop. But it's also just for a fast, not for a Wood of Mine drop, but it was nice for the Wood of Mine drop. He went for the faster lair to get actually a very fast Spire, not quite 2-base, right? But still before upgrades, no Baneling Nest. He built the Roach Warren apparently only as a precaution, or maybe to try and fake out special, not sure which one. But the point is, it's where that's going now. We'll see if he transfers back into Roaches, or he does, upgrade.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Lings.
Okay, so I love the idea to swap over to killing drones here. Gets about 2, but the Raven going down side. Lots of worker harass this game, though. 14.
Yeah. It would suck more, I think, if IA was going just Roaches, because that's when the Raven is literally there the entire game on Abyssal. That's why it's so good on Abyssal. And but he was going for a Spire, so it would have died eventually, and at least it got a couple of drones in its last auto turret. It looks like he is going to be transferred back into Roaches. So I don't know if SpeCial has seen the Spire yet, but I know he's seen the Roach Warren. So I'm not sure where he's going to get confused, but there's got to be some shock, one or the other. Either Mutas come in and he's like, oh, whoops, I don't have any missile turrets, or the Roaches come in and he's like, oh, I was building against Sling Baneling.
Well, Mutas are going to be a little bit annoying. There's no turrets. The Marine Stim still isn't done, so responding to this won't be quick. He's a little bit out of position, and frankly, that Medevac's almost dead too. So this game gets worker kills. This is some nice payback for that Wood of Mine earlier.
I'm pretty sure he didn't see the Spire, because he doesn't know that it's only going to be this many Mutas, right? If he did see the Spire, you would just predict that they're going to go Mutaling Bling. But these small amount of Mutas have already done a lot.
Yeah,
they pulled him back. They distracted him. They killed 9 workers. They're going to get out alive. Yeah, the mules that were dropped there as well. That was very good. And IA is going right into Roaches. So as SpeCial accommodates for that, he might not realize that it's back into Roaches, which is what he probably thought it was in the first place.
Today I learned mules don't actually show up on the unit's loss tab.
I think I do that.
9,999,000. That's
How did
annoying.
that happen?
I don't know. Yeah, what costs like 4 minerals? Maybe you did a bit of repair or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, so this is actually a big problem, right? Because if IA is thinking, okay, or a SpeCial is thinking, I'm just going to be aggressive against someone who might not have a lot of banelings. Those meters are pretty early. You know, all I have to do is with lings. He's coming out here, and there's actually a huge roach force. It's attacking his base, so it's going to be a bit of a base trade. But the point is, I'm not sure that SpeCial was anticipating this.
Yeah. Man, this is such like a ragtag attack. So many important units here are almost dead. We'll see if this get picked off quickly or not. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, looks like, well, the third base might be compromised. I think the natural should be fine. That tank's getting a lot of really good shots off.
Yeah, the fact that SpeCial actually already had a tank means that maybe Major or SpeCial was anticipating this, and that tank was pretty crucial. Otherwise, they're going to continue on to that natural. Right now, Roach just saw that at the third base. This drop looks like it's going to be cleaned up, and I definitely still got the better trade of this.
Agreed. 28 workers is a hard number to make up, even if you have mules dropping for it. Of course, the Biles meters can chase off the command center. Production's not here because there's not just, you can't really hold down the A button. You got no money. You can't build all those Marines. So for SpeCial, this is a really tough spot to be in because there's going to be continued attacks. This isn't something where IA hits and then just backs away for 20 minutes.
Yeah. I think he knows how good of a position he's in. He knows there's one tank on the high ground, and the Mutas just spotted the second tank, I think, before they died. But there's only Marines. There's really not that many of them. Most of the medevacs are very dry. Yeah, this is not really a contest.
Even if they weren't, I don't think it would have mattered. GG, IA takes game number 1. Also, we got some folks in chat asking about why we keep calling him SpeCial. To be clear, guys, we asked, would you prefer to be called Major or SpeCial? And he's requested that we refer to him as SpeCial. I think it's on the brackets, official for WCS as well. So, I mean, we will respect the attempt for a name change. But don't get me wrong, we all know it's Major deep down in our hearts. There's no question about it.
Yeah, just weird.
I don't like that there's no spaces
here.
There's
no spaces. No spaces necessary.
All right, we're going to be getting into Belshire next. Give us a moment to get this lobby up. Also, I apparently can't remember the Twitter password.
Someone just said crush the foreigner, and you know that both these guys are foreigners, right?
I guess depending on who their point of view is. Like, if the fan who said that is Mexican, then Tu Ming's.
No.
Or just not Tu Ming. Yes, who's the foreigner.
Well, it's just that if you talk about foreigners in StarCraft, it's always the non-Koreans.
That's true.
It's the way things are.
Caster A appears to be AFK in that last game. Okay, I'm going to fly down the admin, guys. We can play a break real quick, and we'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, folks, we're back. Sorry, it took a little bit of time to grab our missing caster for the game, but we're hopping into map number 2. Oops, turn the sound off. So press all the wrong buttons. He currently leads 1-0 in the top left. He's going to be the Chinese Zerg player, none other than iAsonu, a.k.a. IA.
In the bottom right is the Red Terran, formerly known as Major. It is SpeCial.
Also, quick shout out to all the subs. Thank you, Tramp1 says hi. New sub hype. We had Darth Silius hit us up for 29 months. Lilin Sui for 11 saying greetings from Sweden. El Baracho for 28 to say wish I was there with you. I wish you were too, man. We had a lot of fans actually come up and just kind of wave us down or take pictures like while we've been casting.
Yeah.
Feels cool to feel important, you know?
Feels esports.
Feels esports. All right, well, oh, is the stream offline? No, okay. Ooh, had a bit of a heart attack there for a moment. But we're good.
All the picnics.
Anyways, well, game 1, I gotta be honest, going into this series, I thought 3-0 for Major. I'm just gonna say it. As good as IA may or may not be, I just know how good Major is. Excuse me, SpeCial. I'm already falling into this trap. But the thing is, the fact that he was able to take that game 1 victory was cool. What I liked about it more so was like it was done with a bit of style. Like he defended, deflected, took some damage, but then the Mutas kind of caught our Terran player off guard, ended up pushing with a really devastating force, and was even able to defend the final attack out of SpeCial. So I thought there was a lot of like really cool thumbs up moments for the Chinese Zerg player in that game.
Definitely a good just game plan, basically. I mean, he mostly, besides that one Widowmine drop and the auto turret harassment, got to do what he wanted to do, and it worked out really well. He got the Spire that wasn't, I don't think it was scouted, so that was like problem number 1 for SpeCial, and they did a lot of damage to him as well. And then he immediately followed up with the Roach attack, which, I mean, it was very, I mean, I don't think it was a 4th base. There wasn't any upgrades. It was very dedicated, but it worked out beautifully because SpeCial wasn't anticipating such a 1-2 punch. He might be a little more on guard this game, however. I feel like we talked a lot about the Chinese players. We don't know a lot about him, and I think the players here don't know a lot about him either. They probably know more as they talk to the each other, and they might play in some events that we don't know about or something like that. But I think taking into account if it's a Korean player, obviously I think SpeCial knows a lot about Alive or Gumi or something like that, but not nearly as much about IA.
Well, so that's actually where I wonder if that's the case or not, though, because a lot of these Chinese players have been forced to play on the Korean server, not even preferably either. They still lag to Korea, but Korea's where they go for a lot of the tournament play, where I imagine the top ones still go for ladder grinding. So whether we knew he was playing against him or not, there's a pretty good chance he's to have played a fair amount, because SpeCial, while he was especially in the BaseTradeTV house, apparently he was one of the hardest working players. We talked to, of course, No Regret and Scarlett about this during that interview, and Major is apparently the guy, SpeCial, damn it. SpeCial is the guy who was working the hardest while he was training in the house the last few months, playing the most ladder games, playing the most tournament games.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly do play in the Korean ladder, but it's still such a disparity between, if you, the whole, barcode tournament idea, I feel if you have, a Korean players and Chinese players, even though they might have, that cross-server, you can still tell usually that's a Chinese player. What is this old build from 6 months ago? That has been pretty consistent for the entirety of StarCraft. Just that's where the Chinese players will do. They're good, and they do still have the builds of the Korean players in their pocket, but they do a lot of the older ones as well.
Well, what's kind of cool too, actually, on that note, the whole barcode tournament premise and all that. Talking to a lot of the players, especially just here at the event, they all know without going to SC2 Unmasked or anything like that who the players on the ladder are.
It's kind of freaky how much they can just be no, this person always does this one little thing, and you're I guess you're right. I would never have put that in my brain.
It's something you would notice if it was pointed out to you, but only a player would look for in the first place.
Although I would have known Bunny and Uthermal with the stupid Cyclone thing. I still don't I have to talk to him about it and just be why exactly is it so good? Why do you guys do it?
Style.
Yeah, style points. Anyways. So SpeCial went for the Widowmine drop last game, and it worked out very well, really. But he's going for what was more predictable, I think, for the Hellion drop, and IA is on top of things.
Oh, geez, almost loses the Hellion. Takes a lot of damage on the medevac, but he is shoot out of the base. Third CC starts up back at home, and the wall's a little bit unorthodox, to say the least.
It's very unorthodox. I mean, this is like Wings of Liberty when people were learning how to macro off. No one really bothers doing the diagonal one much anymore.
I think what this benefits, though, is you're not worried about bailing bust. You don't actually need a full proper wall most of the time. This will kind of let you play that halfway, still get the bunker up, still get the CC up safely.
So, yeah. It's always been the case, I think, that the...
Oh.
Oh, my God. All right, then. I was going to say the corner bunker is easier to get with the SCVs and get their mass repair on, and it can stop the links around. Yeah, I don't know. He actually knows his attack coming.
Second
by the way.
bunker,
So we talking about this wall is a little more important than just idle musings. So it's going to be, as I said, easier to repair instantly with the SCVs. But we do have Ravagers on the way as well to help break those bunkers.
There's a big moment there with that medevac scouting and confirming that this was the case, by the way. So SCV's got pulled to repair the Hellions. Of course, he lowers the depot so he can get more surface area on the bunker. Needs to keep that bunker alive. Second bunker might finish up. There's nothing to go inside of it. There's a lot of links. Big surround. Throws the bus, hitting the SCVs. This bunker looking like it's going to fall. He evacuates to try and get to the other bunker, but it's a little bit too late.
I love IA's play right here. Now, he does run on a lot of lings, and the Ravagers really weren't plentiful enough, but he already killed 18 SCVs.
Yeah, and almost all the army, so there's no immediate counterattack.
Yeah, and 2 Ravens, of course, they got to wait for that energy, so while they're going to be fearsome later on and probably return some of this damage, that's still a while away. Now, SpeCial ended up saving the bunker, saving his supply depots. All of his structures are still intact, and his production is finished, so he's getting... Okay, well, that bunker dies.
Just funny, okay, that drone... I don't know what that was, but the Banshee time's out, and he should be able to save the day with this. Maybe 2 mules can bridge this economy gap, but...
That's an emergency Banshee. They didn't get cloak, right?
No.
Yeah,
no,
so...
But what's neat about this that I was going to get into was that wall actually didn't end up being a huge detriment despite not being a full wall off.
Yeah, it really would have been the same case anyways. I think the one difference is that if it was the front wall, he might not have gotten to the repair in time. For the SCVs.
Yeah, actually, that's a big point. He had less distance to cover getting that pull.
I think he's surprisingly effective. So, I mean, it was also kind of a really tough decision to make as well to lower the supply depots to get the full surrounds, and the Lings also got a surround too. Tough.
This is going to die the course of battles one way or the other. But, I like this move. So, we're going to have the Banshee kind of distract on the right side. It's not going to kill 2 queens. It's not going to kill drones through 2 queens. But the Ravens and the Auto Turrets will get a lot of damage done because nothing's here to defend. Everything was pulled over to that third base.
Ah, Queen, no. Don't be a hero. All right, so I guess get a queen, a drone, and drones do have to pull off as well. But IA very quickly, like I think about, as soon as he lost the lings on that attack, he started a lair, he started droning, got the evolution chambers up. Like he was pretty on point, which is like I did damage, and I'm okay with that. Where I think maybe there's a chance he over-dedicated or just kind of like skipped a beat basically and thinking like, oh, I can do this. But no, he was pretty on par macro-wise with the amount of damage that he did, and he's looking quite good. Even as SpeCial starts to catch up with three SCVs at a time and mules, he still hasn't lifted his, or still hasn't planted rather, his third base.
Wait,
just doing that now.
I was like, where did the second Raven go? I was really confused about what happened. I was like, did it die? Nah, he just splits him up for the national on the main. So auto turret here, auto turret there, here an auto turret, there an auto turret, everywhere an auto turret. Old McDonald had a farm.
IA is going to be going for Mutiling Bling, so eventually these Ravens will be cleaned up. But this is what, like, I brought it up, you know, like eventually they would have been able to return some of that damage from earlier on, and they're doing a decent job of it. 7
workers killed here, a lot of lost mining. Suddenly you like, can't afford 2 extra mutalists, right? You're making 7 instead of 9 type thing.
Yeah, that's true. He did manage to fit in, though, a lot, really. Like, you know, 1-1, centrifugal hooks, and mutas. Like, that is actually everything you would want really happening for the for the Zerg player. Now, SpeCial has his 1-1. Sim and Combat Shows finished a while ago, and he's getting more production now as he expands and pushes. But I think IA, yeah, especially with any time bot, should be okay to hold. And now he knows that Major or SpeCial has expanded here. He might not expand where you'd usually see, basically. Like, he might expand off to the left now. This is a good counterattack. It's on top of that production. Very annoying for Terran players to remember to put SCVs back on.
Yeah, Marine's cleaning this up, though. Oh, that was a slaughterhouse.
Yeah, that's a whoopsie daisy. Because that is one of the downsides if it's a diagonal wall off, is that it's not ever a wall. You know, you're always going to be allowed into the SCV line. Yeah,
there's going to be some sort of run by that will eventually catch you off guard. I'm not sure why tanks were left out here. That's a big mistake.
Oh, man. And if the mutas were here, too, those medevacs are flying way too far forward, but they're going back into that natural base. I guess they just assumed. I mean, he's actually pulling SpeCial apart.
Oh, no.
This is pretty good.
A lot of these SCVs are low from a couple of hits here and there from earlier, so, of course, Glaive Worms could be incredibly deadly.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by it here. He's really just, I think, constantly surprising SpeCial, where usually TVZ at this point has been
figured out.
It like mostly, you know, there's a couple like Ravager, or yeah, Roach Ravager 2 Muta, which is what he did last game, but not quite as brutal and back and forth as what IA has been doing, especially this game starting off with an all-in.
Well, it looks like we have more auto turret harass go down on the other side while this was happening, but the Mutalisks are starting to camp the production a little bit. This is a problem.
Yeah, they can't really. I was like surprised they were able to in the first place. There's like 7 of them.
Well, this is a problem too. He's going to lose the Mutas to the Marines. Okay, so this ends up being better than it should have been for SpeCial. Like, this was a lot of damage taken, but oh no.
Yeah, I think IA is just starting to swamp with the ground army. He's up 20 army supply already. He's got faster upgrades. Really? Wow, 2-2 is almost done. SpeCial has been stalled out, perhaps.
Yeah, and he doesn't, of course, have those tanks from earlier. If he had a lot of tanks, he'd just set up and blast away at the Lings. They'd all be low, they'd be dead, and the Marines would have no problem like one-shotting each of them. So 20 more FCVs dead, total of 45 this game.
I mean, IA had been off of a 4th base for a long time, and even now is not having any droning over there. But his use of the units he has been very effective, I guess, aside from the mutas dying. But otherwise, it's been very, very good. And now he is using that 4th base.
You know, I feel like we haven't seen a successful Mutiling Bling in a long time. It's really cool seeing that from game time yesterday. IA's making it work now. Like, just TVZ, this fell out of the matchup in a big way.
Yeah, but it looks like SpeCial is starting to get the control a little bit, like show his strengths, which really so far he has not been able to do. So he's got the drop in here. Looks like it is going to be cleaned up just in time to save the base. There are mutas again. Tanks once again being left behind, just dealing splash damage to their own SCVs.
Oh, feels bad, man.
This is only 1 tank, which isn't too scary, but it's a little low on the link count, so pulls back.
Yeah, looks like a drop attempt to go to the main, but gets picked off by medevacs and queens. Or Mutalisks and queens, excuse me.
Right.
Hatch rate's going to get finished off, too.
Not bad, but
this is some decent return damage, but the problem is it's decent. It's not great, and he's not in a good spot behind this.
Yeah, constantly losing all of his tanks, way behind on the upgrades, still losing SCVs, finally cleaned up with that 3rd base. And I was going to bring up, like, the 3rd base that SpeCial took usually is right up against the 4th base of the Zerg player, but not in this game because I took such a late 4th, he could decide not to let that happen. And I'm wondering if that is actually ruining SpeCial's plans as well. But maybe it doesn't even matter. There's just too many units.
Ruined.
Yeah. I am very impressed so far by IA.
I didn't realize the Banshee was still alive, by the way.
Yeah, way to go.
But yeah, this is a great game 1, game 2 for IA, but GG.
Oh, man.
All right, SpeCial now on the ropes. Of course, known as Major. Going to keep referencing that just because it's the more popular, I think. I don't know what to make of this. Like, IA really, Chinese players are good.
Sure.
This is something that's been proven through time. You have people like Haas, Jim, Max said, like these names that kind of, they came out, of course, with the Roddy hype, but they showed good games in the past. So you know Chinese players are not just some randos showing up to a tournament. IA, though, going 2-0 versus somebody like SpeCial, like Major, this is actually blowing me away a little bit. I think it's really cool.
It's not even 2-0 in like the cheesiest of fashions. Okay, he did start off that with an all-in, but I am actually very impressed with how he's controlling his units, the way that he knows when to attack and when Major's going to be out of position. Now I think if Major has another like 7 games against this guy, I think Major or SpeCial like figures him out a little bit more. But right now it feels like IA has a bit of SpeCial's number.
Yeah, and again, because someone's bringing this up in chat, guys, every time I say Chinese players, I'm just referencing the region, like in terms of like what region you play in StarCraft 2, same thing we do with the European players and the North American players. Like, there's no...
Oh, because you brought up Haas.
Yeah, there's no intended offense for Taiwan versus China.
I'm pretty sure IA is Chinese, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't make the difference of like East Coast players versus...
Taiwanese server, I think, is what it's called.
Yeah. Where's SpeCial here? I just want to make sure there's no intended BM or anything like that. Caster
yeah, not like when you call Scarlet American or Masa American. That's just BM.
That's just rude. Rude AF. All right. I think we're set up. Both players are ready. Let's hop onto it, and we'll see if this is where the series closes out. It's 2-0 if you're just tuning in, and not in the favor of our Mexican Terran.
That's so surprising, man.
It really is.
I'm a Cascadia.
So is Major SpeCial or SpeCial Major? Oh, man, that's a good question.
It's Major SpeCial, SpeCial Major.
I think Major is SpeCial in the fact that he's changed his name to SpeCial.
Yes.
There we go. All right, let me get the low. There we go. Spawning here, and you know what? I'm going to take a sip of water before I spill this on the keyboard.
I mean, it's a pretty crappy keyboard.
Well,
don't spill on the laptop.
I'm more about the laptop than the keyboard, yeah. Anyways, we're in game number 3. It's currently 2-0, but not for this guy in the top right. He's on his last life and wants to succeed in WCS. He's got to win this game and start bringing it back. Give it up for SpeCial.
In the bottom left is the blue Zerg. It is IA.
Now, actually, there's some other, I guess, outside elements of this too. Like, I was not able to talk to Major too much yesterday. SpeCial, excuse me. Oh. But I was talking a little bit, and he felt really confident. He said he had a really good time training in Korea. Like, there's just so much here that plays against this current score that that just blows me away. It's crazy.
It is crazy. IA is one of those guys that's not really, you know, he kind of brought up the names, the historical names earlier, or the other names like Haas as well. But IA is just not someone you think that's on the tip of your tongue when you think about Chinese players, although he has been around for quite some time.
There was a him and who's the guy? The watermelon one.
Watermelon?
Jigua or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
For a while, those two actually really did stand out in the Chinese scene, at least in the online Chinese scene. Excuse me. But as I said, like outside the Lei Fang Cups, which kind of died off, we haven't heard or seen much of him. So going into this series, stating it right away, we didn't know what state he's in, and it's really cool to see that he's actually in quite a good state. Now, this is like downright dirty to try and finish off the series.
It's also, so this is funny. This like for like 2 weeks was the thing to do, even on Cactus Valley, if you have you can get the chance of cross spawn, which isn't really favorable. And it would work so much more often than I thought it would. So a little bit scared, of course, for SpeCial, who's been doing these factory openers, doing these Hellion openers. He might get the last scout with the Reaper because he did an SEV scout. But IA soon enough is going to be able to tell that it's neither top left or bottom right and send his units in the right direction. I think he's going to be a little disappointed it's not like bottom right, you know, but it's not a deal breaker here. And the damage could definitely still be done.
Well, I guess there's some hype for Neve going up on the main stage. Hear it in chat and hear it on the audience behind us. Yeah. So just I guess congratulations, Neve, is in order while we continue to cast this series out.
Yeah. So the Reaper, I think, saw a Ling, and now he's like super suspicious. So he's gonna go back and save his command center. But this is like always that double-edged sword. Where like, sure, you don't want to stall your command center, but you also can't scout if there is a follow-up.
And it needs to be stated, we've heard this out of you, Thermal, and every other good Terran player out there, the best way to beat this build is to scout it, to see it coming. And unfortunately, I don't think you can... if you're going to blind guess that this is the case, I don't know what you do to deal with it. But right now, going with Hellions might not be the most favorable option.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, if you can just blindly make 2 Cyclones, then you're actually doing pretty well. But
yeah.
Hellions are kind of the worst thing to do. Even Widow Mines would hopefully get the 2 shots off on the 4 units, you know, and even that would be pretty good. But the Hellions might just, of course, straight up die. The Reaper is about to see a Roach on the way out there.
There we go.
Going back to the Zelnaga, it's pretty important.
That's more than
immediately
enough.
starts a Cyclone.
Yep. And it's going to go for Banshee, too, I think, through this. If he goes through the Raven, I'd be honestly a bit surprised. Doesn't have the gas for either right now, actually, with the Cyclone production.
Yeah, there is that. But he could, like, because it is only the 4 units, he doesn't have to go into Banshees.
I had like a weird moment where I clicked on the Cyclone and he canceled it. So I was like, oh, did I do that?
God. Dude, I used to have that fear. I was like, just in case, don't click on it.
Yeah, you never quite know. But okay, he's going to try and buy as much time as possible at the ramp. What I really like about him canceling the Cyclone, not because he needed the gas rush out the Banshee, which he did, but it's also the fact that that reactor is most likely one of the first things targeted down.
Yeah.
He actually testing out one of the Ravagers.
And
this is a good start.
To be honest, 1 Cyclone, again, this is not a very committed attack here.
Yo, those cactuses are on fire.
It's, you know, like, the SCs definitely have to repair it, but I was going to say, 1 Cyclone can just deal with this. But that's the thing, is IA very quickly started droning. He really only made these 4 units plus the 2 Lings. That's it, and the rest of the larva went into drones. So he's still on 2 bases, and he would have wanted to kill something more, either the Cyclone or the Reactor or an SCV or 2. It's not the worst opener, and he'll have units, hopefully, against the Hellions and the Banshee.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is that he has a worker lead, a 3rd base on the way. There's so many things going well for him, but the problem is Terran units can sometimes be a little bit cheesy, and things like a Banshee can really spiral out of control.
Yeah. In fact, already taking care of the Roaches, but at least they help take care of the Ravagers. I guess it is okay so far, but it's like that Queen needs some help to take care of that Banshee.
1 Queen cannot kill a Banshee, for those who don't know. The Banshee will have no problem 1v1ing a Queen down.
Yeah. But there's no Spore Crawlers, but there's also no Cloak. So, I mean, it really, you know, even if the Queen died and the Banshee lived, it has like 20 health or something. It's pretty low, so it shouldn't do too much after that. And there's a Spire on the way, so IA is going to be getting that control kind of like last game, but even faster than any of the previous games. Pretty sure. And maybe go back into Roaches after, because this is kind of looking more like the Abyssal game. The faster Lair and the faster Spire, but still has a Roachborn that he could go back into. I don't think SpeCial has seen the Spire, but he saw the late 3rd and the Lair, I'm pretty sure. And just might, yeah, I think he's suspicious of the Spire.
He's scanning specifically for something. He's not going to find it in the natural, but I think the 3rd base being delayed is already a little bit of a tell, too. But the thing is, when you're going for Marines, this isn't like playing mech. This isn't like being caught off guard and you're like, okay, I have no anti-air. Last game, too, he was a little bit caught off guard, but we saw like the turret come down. The mutas weren't such a problem. I mean, they caused a lot of damage, but I mean, he was able to push them off. Yeah,
well, a Terran player is always able, really, unless they make like 40 at a time. Then maybe you don't have enough Marines. But it's going to be a problem just having the Marines in the wrong place. Like when he pushes out, as soon as the combat shield finishes up, that's when the mutas swoop in, and that's exactly what happened on Abyssal. Right, yeah, Abyssal, and that did a lot of damage. So that might be the same situation here. He's not pushing out, because I don't think he has enough medevacs or combat shields, but he would push out at least to save his 3rd base. And that's the mutas going in the natural.
Banshee is picked up.
Okay. That's good, because until that point, he didn't know there's a Spire and wasn't building missile turrets.
I guess that is the tell, yeah, so the turrets come down immediately. The 3rd base is the one I'm most worried about, though. There's no real easy way to stop that.
Back when Cactus Valley was in Heart of the Swarm, and Heart of the Swarm was all about 2 base muta into a lot of aggression, getting a 3rd base could sometimes be like the wrong move in general. Like you're supposed to kind of turtle for a while they control the map. Definitely different Legacy of the Void, but I'm just saying, like, it can actually pull you apart a little bit too much.
Well, we just going to pick off the refinery. It's a bit of a freebie, but the Gladeborn bounces also will kill some SCVs, which is nice.
Gonna bother repairing that.
You think this thing of all things would be the most important to repair? Like, a gas factory on fire? That thing should explode like a nuke when it dies.
Well, we don't know if Vespian burns, do we?
You know what? It's a gas, so I'm going to assume it does.
Right, you assume, right? But it's like, it's space, man. You don't know. Space gas.
This isn't in space, though. This is on a planet with an atmosphere.
But I mean, it's like Vespian gas isn't a real thing. Anyways, so this might look really defensive, building a bunker here, but like I was talking about, not only is there a fear of just like the mutas controlling you in general, but there's also that one game where the Roaches did follow up and he didn't have enough defense.
I thought the mutas were going to go snipe off the tanks. It misses the first one. barely gets any hits on the second one. That was a little bit awkward, to be honest.
This is what, like, also I was kind of alluding to, where if SpeCial just continues playing games against IA, I really feel like he starts to figure him out, and this, like, was already a point to that. But SpeCial is still being torn apart a little bit. His command center got pretty low from this. His stim, the stims are starting to hurt his Marines. Doesn't have quite a lot of medevacs. IA, though, does not have any upgrades. In fact, I think what we've seen from Europeans who do builds that don't get upgrades is that when they have to transition out, they just go straight to an infestation pit. I think it's a much better move. Upgrades can only help you so much, but a fungal corrosive bile doesn't need upgrades.
No, that's just straight up devastating at any point in the game.
Yeah, and he is getting kind of both. He's getting everything, really. He's getting Tumbling Claws to help maybe buy some more time. He's getting an infestation pit for those infestors, and getting 1/1 for his roaches.
Well, middle of the map might get caught a little bit off guard. This army's not huge. Okay, but he doesn't want to fully engage. Let's say if he had tanks coming with him, this wouldn't be too bad. Defensively speaking, though, I think SpeCial's pretty set, but it's only around 3 bases, and at some point, like we're getting close to that point in the game where the main's gonna be mining out. We might float the main over, build a 4th for a planetary, but right now, stuck on 3 is not such a bad spot to be.
Yeah. I love this. I even getting speed for his links. Why not? Just really everything coming on the production tab for IA. I mean, it's definitely a case where he has control, but I don't think it's like SpeCial could, like, yeah, start dropping, and maybe he could push, like, be a little dangerous.
So a lot of Zerg players will spread out their tech so that one big Doom drop doesn't screw them over. I'm really worried about IA. If SpeCial actually executes, like, just a double drop even, he can pick off so many important buildings.
Not many people Doom drop in TVZ, but if there's any type of drop in that main, there's just like, which one do I pick?
Yeah, you're going to be a kid in a candy store. There's so much to pick off. But so, okay, drops on the left side, main attack through the right. This burrowed roach is so sick that actually just saw the entire army coming. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. It doesn't have a lot of vision, but sometimes those burrowed units can be really good. The infestation bit was not for infestors, by the way. It was going straight to Hive instead, and I think IA might have been giving a little too little credit to SpeCial's ability to move out. But yeah, I mean, if he can push this off, then that is going to just, probably be it for a while. And then he does.
These are unloaded, so they're ready to go in for some sort of attack. You'll find several Overlords for free in the middle. This is great. But the thing is, Hive Tech, that transition, this is when Zerg players are most vulnerable. So any amount of damage done here is going to be good. The question is whether you can follow up and get something actually concrete. Picking off tech, a lot of drones, stopping the Ultralisk layer or something, like anything.
SpeCial is now moving out. Did you say Ultra layer?
Yeah.
Yeah, close enough. The move out's now coming. Like, he was only with only certain part of his armies. Now all the tanks are coming forward. He has 2-2-1. This is really the make it or break it time as he's trying to get to Hive, and he might not be able to.
Now, did SpeCial catch IA, or did IA catch SpeCial with his move out on the bottom right? I don't know, but the big left one is going to be hard to deal with. That's a lot of tanks with this push. So far, he's only had to deal with, like, micro Marines. In fact, he's actually going to lose this fight here as he pulls back home, but the tanks are set up on the ramp. They're in range of that macro hatchery. Yeah, that thing's going down.
I like that he just gave this base up. The tanks were in such a good position. They already made it across the map before he could say anything about it. And while this is still scary, like, you give up this position, then maybe you give up the next choke as well, and that's still bad news. Either way, he was in a tough spot, and sacrificing is probably the much better move.
Yeah, hatchery goes down. This Marines didn't even take anything from those Broodlings. Upgrades aren't too bad at all for the bio, sitting on this 2-2. Muda's trying to come and snipe off the tanks, but that's not going to happen. He left Marines behind.
It would have been so useful if they were able to take off even one tank.
Yeah. But this, though, he's playing I love this. But the funny thing about this is we talked about, like, the transition, right? We're seeing SpeCial get some very definitive damage done. He's winning the army supply lead right now. But a big part of this about IA is trying to resist the urge to max out on more Mutas, on more Lings, on more Banelings. Like, he needs the money for the Ultras. So it's going to suck for a little bit longer.
It is. Yeah, it's going to suck for a little bit longer.
The Ultra Scammer?
No, it finished. Okay. So he's not getting Chitinous Plating, though, and he does need to start that as soon as possible. He was banking a little bit, and he just put it all into Ravagers and Ultras, and I hope he doesn't forget to get Chitinous Plating. I love this counterattack. It doesn't quite catch SpeCial off guard, though, as there were Marines already. And remember, IA has terrible upgrades.
Yeah.
He's only upgraded his Roaches and not even very far.
I mean, those Marines didn't even need medevac assistance. This could have taken on the Lynx, no problem. But the concern is these Ultras. Okay, they're going to have +2 armor. That's it, the end. It's going to be up against what is almost 3-3 bio. Marauders and tanks are going to tear through that carapace like nothing.
Yeah. I think he's just forgotten it.
Ultralisk is going to be like wearing nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
They kind of shake their butt like that, you know.
I get a little bit of that wiggle.
This is going to be devastating. You know, IA is probably thinking, like, we got a chance. I got a couple of ultras. You know, maybe if they could fit in some infestors in there as well, that'd be really great. But these ultras aren't really ultras. they're kind of just like huge lings that suck.
Although I will note, we don't actually have like much tech labs up, so there's not a lot of Marauder production. Right now, the Marines will be okay when there's no chitinous plating, but eventually this bio army is going to drop off hard against what IA's got.
Yeah. I mean, these, again, like, they're just not being targeted. Now you can see the Marines actually do take out the ultras pretty quickly, and I think SpeCial also probably had to note, like, wait a second, that doesn't chitinous plating.
He was really trying to bring this to the edge of the creep, too. I mean, this wasn't just like a fearful run away because he was scared and didn't know better. He was trying to get a tactical advantage by being off the creep, but so many of these Marines are overstimmed. One or two swipes from these Kaiser Blades might just take out an army.
Yeah. The Ravagers have been doing a great job killing the tanks, and those Sims were starting to hurt, but there's so many medevacs. It only needs a second to fix that. Still, no cadence plating, just started. Some infestors are on the way out finally, too, but this is a lot of time for SpeCial to adapt to the Ultras, get more Marauders, get Liberators, second Starport on the way as well.
I mean, this is a sick game taken to the late game, and of course for SpeCial, he needed this. This is not looking bad for him at all. He's not in a winning position just yet, but for someone who is on their last life of the tournament, this is the type of position you want to be in, not like game 1, not like game 2.
Be high sec auto tracking. Oh.
That's actually be great for the planetary, funny enough.
I had gotten this base a long time ago, and I guess you didn't really send any drones over, so that's a kind of a freebie pickoff right there.
Wonderful snipe. Double kill, maybe, with this other hatchery getting focused down. Ultras is going to be a freebie. Still no chitinous plating. IA has to avoid conflict. He cannot afford to lose more Ultralisks.
His drones are also going to a meat grinder. He tried to counterattack, and all the lings just went into their own meat grinder on the other side of the map, and nothing seems to be working for IA.
We got infestors finally on the way. I think this was a big missing component for IA. He wanted to rush out those Ultras. He wanted to get out the hive, but it's like trying to eat your dessert before your dinner, and you're going to get punished for it.
I really think that if he had gotten chitinous plating when he should have, he might have been able to save his 4th, maybe not his 5th, but save his 4th and have still a couple more Ultras alive, right? And that does start to really add up. You can bring your game back with Ultras if they don't, immediately respond to them.
This is interesting, by the way. He's chosen to go for a lot of Liberator production, too. 4 at a time behind this.
Yeah. I mean, I think if he had just gone for max Marauders or Liberators, like either way, he's got a pretty good position. But I do think Liberators are like the easy peasy way, because if they can barely afford Ultras, they probably aren't affording a lot of Corruptors.
That's true. All right, setting up down here once again with the Liberators. Like, they will be taken out by Corrosive Bowels. This is an easy peasy pickoff for IA. But it's the rest of the army. It's the bio. It's the medevacs. That 3-3, reminding everybody, these Ultras aren't hitting for jack squat against these Marines.
Yeah, they really aren't. I mean, at least they're upgraded with the armor now, but even they are getting targeted down. Transfuse is not really happening. Fungal only hits a couple really weak medevacs anyways. And IA is running out of ideas, running out of army. Yeah,
I mean, 5 Ultras and a couple good infestors, they could take out the ground army, but then how do you deal with the air? Vice versa. Like, there's just too many hard choices to make, and I think Major's got a great composition. Chitinous plating might be done, but he's still just having trouble killing this bio army. Skites it down, another Ultralisk falls, another one bites the dust, and this is just falling apart. Meanwhile, left side, attack going down over here. GG.
All right, SpeCial brings it back. A 2-1.
All right, so it's not going to be another 3-0, which is great, because I was really sad we're just going to have like 3-0 after 3-0 after 3-0. But that was a really good comeback. And reminding people, too, as late as that game went, that was off the back end of SpeCial not being ready for a very disgusting potential all-in.
Yeah, and well, he dealt with that pretty well, so I wouldn't say that was like a totally effective early opener for IA. I thought IA was actually like transitioning and macroing up behind it pretty darn well. But there is certainly just, it was always going to be a problem trying to get to Hive, even if he had built an army first.
Cactus?
Honor.
Honor, okay.
Cactus, Honor, Nuker. But anyways, I thought a couple things did differently. Like, I maybe still could have won that game, but it wasn't the start he was, I think, really hoping for.
All right, well, we're going to get this next series up, guys. We're going to go to a quick commercial break while we do, so thank you very much for watching so far. I guess current bit boss is Monty Un, and we'll get any shout-outs we're missing in a little bit. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you soon. All right, folks, we're back, and we got a new bit boss through Alaska winter. Thank you for the 1,500 bits, dude. Really appreciate that. We had Skeptical Robot hit us up with a 3-month resub saying, I don't know what this does. Well, I think you found the right button, friendo. But,
shit.
Well, yeah, Panic Switch dethroning the boss with 3,000 bits. Bit of a war on a war, for that, if you want. A hat on a hat for this game, if you will.
I timed that up perfectly.
Yeah, thank you, Panic Switch. All right, guys, of course, we'll get caught up with the other subs in a little bit. Let's finish off this game because this is WCS Austin 2017 in the top right. He's making his way to a comeback. He's got 1 point on the board, but still on his last life. It's SpeCial.
In the bottom right is the red Zerg. He is IA.
Now, this guy's actually been, I guess we've had some of the, I don't know if there's like Chinese correspondents coming around, but they're like trying to figure out like which stream the Chinese players are playing on to let the
team
fans
manager,
know.
translators.
Yeah, it's pretty
fans,
cool.
So yeah.
I hope that if we manage to get a win out of IA, we could get a translator for him. Actually, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty boss. I don't know if his English is existent at all.
But I think if I recall the way the brackets are set up, Cyril's set to play the winner of this series, and we're kind of talking to him, and he really was equally worried about playing both. Because I asked the question, like, of the two, who are you more worried about fighting? And like, I guess he's got really big concerns about both.
Oh, interesting. I mean, he did say ZvT was his worst, despite winning that other series 3-0. So
yeah, I think that might be part of it, right? You've got the known player to be afraid of, like SpeCial, and then kind of the unknown player at the matchup you don't love. Like, I can understand why you'd have trouble with either.
Yeah, and after this game, too, after the series, I mean, even if IA loses, but say that he wins, it's not just that it's ZvT, but he also, I mean, it's a confirmation for everyone who didn't know IA that it's actually, that's going to be a very scary guy. Now, he's been a bit of a trickster so far, but like I've said, I really like the way that he's adapted and followed it up, so I wouldn't just say, like, cheese or win kind of guy. Like, definitely not. But he certainly has been getting these early leads from these transitions and swaps, and last game, he was unable to do that. The Roach swap did not surprise SpeCial enough. And while he wasn't in a terrible position after that, it was an uphill climb. And, you know, that could be a problem. This could have been that point where SpeCial finally figures out IA and is actually good to go for the rest of the series.
Just by the way, too, this was asked earlier in chat. It's already gone. Sorry, so I can't see who asked. I don't actually know if we're going to be casting more than the round of 16. I think this is it.
Not,
I think we just do 4 best-of-5s today, and that's all the main stage after that.
I was talking to the Observer, Kevin, and he said he's doing 8, so he gets the other 4.
That would make sense then, yeah. So, yeah, anyways, it's been a blast. We've got to cast a little bit, get to hang out too, but this means we also have the rest of today and all day tomorrow to actually hang out and just do stuff. I mean, there's been a couple of situations where I've been like, well, it went so late last night, for instance, but actually, like, when you really come to these events, it's like, it's amazing. Like, I'm not saying don't come to these events, but it's also like sometimes just a lot of sitting around and just kind of waiting for something to happen and waiting for the games to get on the main stage. So I've actually really enjoyed it. I feel like this also, I love casting with you, Zam. I'm gonna be honest with this, but also just casting in general. So I think that this was a great way to pass through the daytime to get to nighttime to get to do the cool hangout stuff. Yeah, certainly true. And of course, Austin's great for the nighttime stuff. But, well, you know what? I'm going to disagree only based on the fact that I went out at 4 a.m. last night, and it could have been the middle of the day. It was so warm. It was so sticky. Yeah, yesterday was quite warm. This is like, it's perfect though. I immediately, like yesterday, because I agree, I checked the weather and I was like, thank God, tomorrow and the next day are going to be much cooler, like 20 degrees cooler. Yeah, it's been pretty crazy, but I think that as long as it's cool enough that you can go out and drink and not feel terrible, that's all I care about. Yeah, I mean, of course, you could also just go to a place that's like air conditioned, but God forbid the container's air conditioned. I don't, a lot of these places more like open areas. I don't know if there's a lot of. I understand the appeal, but then it rains and it's humid, and you're like, this sucks. Yeah. Of course, I come from a land where it just rains all the time, but we don't get the humidity. Yeah, you're just like, open, no ceiling? What is this thing? Oh, the rain's going to get in here. What's wrong with you? Do you not fear water damage? Austin is so impractical. Perfect. All right, so we have IA already on 3 bases, but is still going for that Roach Warren. I think this is somewhat what he did on Abyssal, I think. So not crazy damage with these Widow Mines. Spore Crawlers have been started up as well, but the fact that he gets any damage is already good. I'm getting some serious deja vu. I mean, we talk a big game about IA because he's been pressing us in a lot of these games, but he is messing up right here. But also... oh, can he save this? Oh, he gets 3 of them out. That's not bad. Within the first 2 minutes of this matchup, don't forget that SpeCial opened it up by killing 7 drones with a Widow Mine drop. So this is actually like a very much deja vu. The Widow Mine drop got the damage done, the Hellings got a little more damage done, and we're at 8 drones killed. And what was a very similar build, I think, like 3 bases, not quite droning too hard, but still having a Roach Warren, and it's a lot like the Abyssal game. We got Dares in chat saying he'll never follow Fear Dragon again. Yeah, that was a mistake. What happened? Well, that's why we went to that place. It's because we were going to go on 6th Street, which is like just like 5 minutes away. Yep. And then he was like, let's go to the container because they get a friend there.
And it was 20 minutes away, and we were like, oh, but at least it's closer to the hotel, but it really wasn't.
I saw SpeCial tweet last night how he goes out and it was like 95% walking, 5% drinking or something.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely, like, we didn't stay very long at the bar. It was, yeah, whatever.
Fear Dragon, a natural-born leader.
Right? All right, so Raven's going to come in here and start harassing. I don't think Undergrounds is quite as great, but there is this ledge here in these positions. Also, we didn't really talk about the positions, but this is kind of just annoying in general for IA. I mean, he starts off with a Hellion drop and the Wintermine drop, and now it's the Raven auto turrets and future things. Like, there's going to be Doom drops. There's going to be just single medevac drops in this location because Undergrounds, whoever gets this one, who's on the bottom to the top, it's just like...
It's the short end of the stick.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, this is kind of cool. So he manages to get the Queen low enough that the Hellions are able to come in and execute her. That's nice. But the Hellions don't get the drone kills they want. 5's not bad, but they do get caught by the Lings.
It's really not that bad. I mean, that's 13 total.
I'm sorry, there's nobody for you to pick up. Oh.
Nice damage done. IA, I mean, he still won that game where this kind of same opener happened, but it is really nice. And SpeCial's not going to make the mistake of not anticipating the follow-up attack. So I think IA, if that's what he's planning on doing, he's planning on just getting as many roaches as possible and attacking. I think that might be the wrong move.
I just had a small moment of revelation here. Medevac's got that saying 5x5, right?
In the pipe, 5x5?
Yeah, but they actually can't pick anything up 5x5.
Yeah, you know, I looked that up once and it's code for something, but I don't remember.
Probably just like everything's A-okay.
Maybe that was it, I don't know. But I don't remember why it was 5x5, like why that is a saying.
All right, well, Army Supply lead favors IA right now, and it's not purely through roaches. There's actually some Lings out, but this is such an inflated supply nonetheless, so I don't really know whether this is something that can really take on this army. SpeCial's coming with a lot of Marines. They've got medevac support, which is great, but Stim's done.
Well, this is where IA is going to be really happy that he made so much army, you know? Like, he's only at 41 drones, but his army supply is 30 above majors, specials.
Hype for that Raven, by the way. He's got so many tumors. That's got to feel good.
Yeah. Now, if IA was able to force SpeCial to move back into his base and then followed through, that's him catching the Marines unloading. But because SpeCial went for the drop in his base instead, it was a little more complicated. But he actually splits up his army half and half. We have roaches going to SpeCial's third. I think there are tanks there, however. Only one. The other one not siege. He's going to go for it.
He can pick it up and save it if he really wants to. Probably should have, but they tried to at the last second. You saw that boost. He really wanted to get in there. This is going to cost him 8 SCVs at the very least. Some of the bio. He tries to get you from the backside with a bit of a sandwich move. That's cool. I like this. Auto turrets will lock down the attack and make sure that iAsonu is going to take losses for this.
Whoopsie daisy. He lost that Raven to the Corsair Gear, but there's more army coming in for IA. He still has that army supply lead. The upgrades have not yet finished for SpeCial. 1-1 in combat shield's about to.
Killed his own overseer, so there's a bit of payback, I guess.
Yeah, there is one tank, and it is going to be protected a little bit by that bio, but the Corsair Bios are going to be able to hit it. No pickup in this patch. Goodbye.
Unfortunate. If you guys are cheering for Major, though, you got to cheer hard. Excuse me, SpeCial, because he is on his last life, of course, and this is looking scary for him. Roaches and Ravagers not giving up any ground. They continue to push in. I mean, the Bioforce is pretty good. They have combat shields. They got 1-1 now, though. So this is going to be a completely different fight than the one we just witnessed.
Yeah, and that is a lot of bio. This is really not a joke here, and the siege tank does pop out. It's got to siege up. Another one's on the way. IA is still just continuing to make army. He's not transitioning quite yet. Got to be careful with the command center. If it gets too low and the Corsair Bios come down, you can't save it.
It's a shame that Raven died earlier. Having 2 sets of auto turrets every, 50 seconds would be amazing for pushing this off. The command center is forced to lift once again. Can't land, can't drop the mules, can't even use the energy that it has, and it's going to need to be repaired soon.
Yeah, there are SCVs just hiding in a corner, so worse comes to worse, it should be repaired.
Oh, he's chewing through the roaches now, though.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be the end of IA. He's still trying to just only make army, and that is it. GG.
We're going to get a game number 5.
Yeah, I'm quite worried. IA might have been figured out.
Maybe. I mean, for me, I was really worried. The first 2 games in this series did not look good for SpeCial. Like, he got riggedy wrecked.
Yeah, but a lot of that was tricks in a way. Like, it was just an unpredictable playstyle by IA, but now that he's really anticipating the Roach follow-up, the all-ins, the upgrade that's all-ins, he's being a little more patient, a little more smart with the army move-outs. I mean, even then, the difference between bulking up 5 extra Marines and waiting for 1-1 is really sometimes the difference maker against that Roach attack.
Well, the final map of the series is going to be on Newkirk. Daffy's been saving esports for 14 months. So we'll get caught up with shoutouts when the series is all done, guys, because we are kind of forced to keep this moving along. Caster A in here, too. But yeah, first ace match of the day. Pretty good.
Yes. Second series, so I think a lot of chances to have other ace matches.
Emil's using Nurchio's portrait. I love that, actually.
He's used that for a long time.
Yeah, Emil's got to be like one of the most like nationalistic, passionate players in the world, or casters in the world.
It's really hard to say nationalistic without sounding like that's bad.
I guess, yeah, okay. But the thing is, like, you could have two sets of games going on. You could have Nurchio versus another nobody from Poland, or you could have like Innovation versus Zest, and he'll pick Nurchio series every single time.
It's really useful because everyone else picks the other one.
Yeah. Works out nicely to spread the love. But hey, Panic Switch still the bit boss, guys. We need to have some team efforts here. Knock this guy down. Look, it didn't even spell his name right. Panic Switch. Oh, it moved over.
Yeah, it's scrolling. It's some time.
We need some help to dethrone the current bit boss. So you got to work together, guys. So get here to game at number 5. Things are scored up 2-2. In the bottom right, the Red Terran from Mexico. It's SpeCial.
In the bottom left is the Blue Zerg from China. It is IA.
All right, so IA, I'm like, this whole series is like wishy-washy for me. Because if you just split it in half, it's very one-sided in two different ways. Like, it's very clear to me that SpeCial, I think if this goes late game, is going to have a pretty good game. On the other hand, though, if IA can end it early, if you can get into those roaches, turn to all in, and get down and dirty, clearly SpeCial's not been having a good time with that. Even that last game, despite the win, was still a little bit difficult to pull off.
It was very, very scary when those reinforcing roaches came in to the Marines and medevacs in the middle of the map, but after all, SpeCial did end up winning, so only scary so much. Bits now coming in to help dethrone the boss.
Yeah, 500 damage from Montiun.
Yeah. But the thing is like, now that SpeCial has figured out the kind of the flow and the transitions of IA, does IA have any other ways to play, basically? Like, he's played Mutaling, Bling, and Roaches all in the same game because he's transitioned from one to the other very rapidly. And that doesn't mean he's only depending on that. His macro and his micro and his decision making has been pretty good. It is certainly what made those first two games look like such a stomp. And he's got to go back to that, basically. He's got to go back to either just stomping major or actually following through, like on that Cactus Valley game where he was in an okay position, but then he forgot the chitinous plating and, you know, lost out on the scouting in the middle of the map. He let those tanks siege up like he did.
It's, you know, there's very few players I feel that have refined the late game. I mean, you even look at somebody like Nurchio, who is like this symbol of Zerg. Oh, do I have sounds muted? No. Who is like the symbol of like best Zerg players, and even he doesn't always comfortably get to that hive tech. Sometimes struggling and finding weakness there too. So I don't know that there's anyone who has that down pat to a science that's just like the smoothest transition of all time. But I feel like I would like to see this go that late game. I'd like to see IA actually get there, maybe with less hiccups along the way, and see how that looks against SpeCial.
Yeah. Apparently I uploaded a video. I don't even remember which one I set up for upload today.
You uploaded a video. Well done. Well played.
It's something great. Trust me, guys.
I'll get some more bits come in. Thank you. Well, I thought I said Haas for a second, but it's just a name that's blanked out. It says has used 132 bits. Thank you for whoever did the damages.
Yep. So, no Roachhorn quite yet. Speed on the way for IA.
I do want to know how interesting it is that these Hellions are made so consistently. Like, it clearly did work versus the Roach Ravager attack.
Damn.
Oh, wow. Juvia Lockers.
Boom.
Or Juvia Loxer 69. You got this, Major. 5,000 bits.
Ah, time shifter a little bit too late, too. 1,000 bits.
Well, he's going to poke at the next boss, I guess. Thank you very much, time shifter. I like the wink.
Wink, winky. Ding, ding.
All right. It was the point I was making with the Hellions, though, was like, even in a game where he wasn't using them to be like drop heavy and aggressive and he needed to use them defensively, they still played a pretty decent role. I'm not convinced that Hellions are like objectively the go-to unit for openers, but we are seeing them become like more popular again.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for years they were the only opener. There's no exception. It was Hellion Banshee and like nothing else.
It really was. So it was basically a mid to late Wings Liberty and like all of Heart of the Swarm. So it's been a long time. But it's definitely coming back, and it does look like they're both going to be going for very similar openers to the Abyssal game and the Honor Grounds game, with Roachhorn once again for IA, which he may or may not use, and then the Widowmine drop into the Hellion attack, followed up by the Ravens for SpeCial. I mean, I think at this point they've really identified each other, and hopefully IA is going to take less damage this game, where SpeCial obviously is going to be more on point about the Roach attack again, and I'm wondering what this is going to lead up to, because I'm getting deja vu for like the third time in the series.
The queens are just...
That's some good queen positioning.
Yeah, there's no way those medevacs can get in comfortably. Reaper was being annoying up here, hoping to distract, but that's not going to be too much of a distraction at all. And... I mean, there's a Spore Crawler down, so even the chance that this gets a shot off is low.
Scottus and his Lings, I guess Roaches are about to pop too, but you know, the Hellions are on the way. This is not a tactic that's new. It's exactly what SpeCial did in game 4 and 1. The drones are pulled even before the Hellions get close to them.
Here comes the Widow Mines.
Oh,
Detection's
boy.
not quite set up here to go yet, so...
Okay, not bad. He's like so close to defending against this perfectly because the Spore Crawler's done. I think they would die fast enough, but it's always not quite done, so the Widow Mine's get the shots anyways.
He's purely droning behind this too, so he's feeling pretty comfortable knowing that there's not going to be too much more. It's Hellions and a medevac after all. I think with Roaches and Ravagers out, he's good to go.
I mean, this is not a push, but IA is bothering to send his units across the map.
This isn't going to work. Even if these were all Ravagers, there's no high ground vision.
I don't think he's thinking it's going to work. I think he's just hoping that there's a wall and no units, so he forces out an auto turret and then runs away.
Maybe. Might get the medevac though. Oh, that would have been sick.
I mean, at the very least, he forced a bunker. I mean, this is like, I really don't think he was expecting a lot.
And you know, Terrans haven't been able to salvage that bunker for 100% for a while
I know,
now,
25 minerals, just, oh my god, it messed up his build. His barracks is 5 seconds later. Holy shit.
Okay, so it's two kind of dangerous things happening right now. First off, the Ravens got enough for 2, possibly 3 auto turrets, looking for some damage. But south side, we got a medevac with 3 Hellions, but everything here is damaged. Nothing here is full health.
Yeah, everything. So the queens hopefully are going to be able to snipe that off for IA, and there's actually an extra one in the main too, I mean, so should be possible. People
have heard the phrase glass cannon before, but like really, this is taking next level stuff. But he rides in and gets a couple of drones right off the bat.
We have 1-1 for the Lings on the way, by the way, not for the Roaches, so just going to stick on Mutiling Bling for a while. When's that Spire going to come down is basically the question. He doesn't have quite enough gas for it, so a bit of a mistake there because he's banking a lot of minerals.
First drops. Two of them were pretty good. Crossbow will take out 1, but I mean, this already killed like 6 drones.
Yeah, that was still pretty good. Macro Hatchery finally on the way. Already broke down those rocks as well, so don't have to worry too much about that getting harassed. But Spire and Banelands being thrown down at the same time. SpeCial has his macro going along pretty swimmingly. 5 barracks on the way. I guess now 3 barracks on the way. Upgrades a little bit ahead, I think, of IA. Not too much.
Spire is in a bit of an odd spot. I do want to note last time we talked about it, I actually had all of his tech in one place. He has, in fact, split it up this time, and I'm wondering if that's because of the map. Newkirk is such a droppable map.
I mean, you get the line from main to main, but that's where you just build 5 missile turrets and hope they never drop you. I mean, that's how I play TVT.
I just build battle cruisers personally.
Yeah, that'll deal with everything.
You just teleport past anything, no problems.
This Raven's being quite the pain, man. The Spire's not nearly as fast in those other games. The Ravens have tried to do a lot of damage. Still doesn't die as that Queen is getting the last shot.
I love the attention to the auto turret, or the focus from the auto turret, like to pick off the drone too. But, alright, so the Banshee's not going to get a lot done. It can police some of the creep tumors, which is kind of cool if he pairs that up with a Raven, but...
Yeah, that would be very useful.
Will this actually reveal the Lings? No, he's not going to see the Lings, so a potential run by later could be dangerous.
I really hope he does patrol the Queens. Oh, well, the creep tumors. But the Queens are patrolling their creep tumors, so... Not going to happen. I mean, we didn't really get to talk a lot about IA's creep because he's been so aggressive, but now that he's kind of on the defensive, he's got the 4th base, he's waiting for the mutas. SpeCial's pushing out right now. The lack of creep spread is kind of a big deal, and that's a lot of because his queens have been busy.
I just had a...
Yeah, I was going to say, what did I just say, Rifkin? You don't know.
I don't know what you just said. I was too busy fighting with tempo through gestures and hand movements.
Yeah. Anyways, the creep spread is what I was talking about. There's not a lot, and it's not picking the 4th base, so it's a little bit scary, but there's just not... You know, SpeCial didn't bring his tanks. Maybe he's now bringing the tanks? Okay, he's now bringing the tanks, but, you know, initially it wasn't that bad. IA is going to try and buy some time. I like this idea. Maybe catching some medevacs as well that are lagging behind. Tanks, I mean, that's not going to do anything for now, but they're planning on something.
If he advances it up here, it will.
Yeah. That's kind of funny.
Run by the other side of the map's going to be a little bit dangerous. Marines are in the mineral lines. They're running back home, too. Not a lot of medevac support, but the Lings are going to get cleaned up, so this won't get too far out of hand.
Yeah. Looks like he was okay trading for those Marines.
Uh-oh.
Oh, trading for the tanks a lot better.
I really don't know this positioning on the tanks here. It kind of works out a little bit
It works
because
out really well.
Yeah.
Like, I really wish IA had just waited for like 5 more mutas, then he would have cleaned it up anyways without losing Rouges, without losing Banelings. But the Marines were on their way back trying to protect it. He stalls at the 4th base. Nice find with the accessory Lings. That's quite a stimmed army. Even Lings would do well against this. Glaive Worms would do well against this.
Man, yeah, there's only 3 medevacs healing it up.
But there's
no
Banelings. There's not really a lot of Lings after using them on the counterattack. He needs a bit more time here.
And the focus fire is sick. He target fires down the Banelings, walks away from the hatch. He's got some tank support for this too. He just let the tank soak the hits.
Focus fire on the Banelings from that one tank was brutal, but the Glaive Worm's going to be able to take out the rest of the Marines. And he does push us back. IA still has a 20 army supply lead, and while he lost a 4th, I think he can replace that, but it's again that creeps for them. So looking at like it's going to be worrying as the game goes on.
Upgrades are going to be an issue, maybe. Like 2-2 to 2-2 is not as bad as like 3-3 to 1-1 as before.
Yeah.
But I will say one of the things that was kind of amazing, I didn't consider now, was those medevacs all dying with that attack. He was already on a really low count to begin with.
Oh, nicely done with the Lings countering. Attacking as well, rather multitasking has got to be stressed here for SpeCial. He's a couple of units. It almost wasn't enough. That's a lot of Lings, but looks like IA is just going to back off from this. But that was nice. 9 SCVs die.
Gotta point this out for Hard Revenge. We asked about this man. We had the same thing where like Ducasis just not know how to say his name, but he was asking to be called IA.
Yeah.
Same way Major's asked to be called SpeCial. This is a hard match for us to cast because we can't say the players' names the way we want to.
Yeah. Mutas are big enough numbers to take out a single missile turret, which is exactly what they did. I'm guessing this season going to surround the repair fast enough, and that's going to be a constant point of contention. They're even getting upgraded now. Usually they would have had one upgrade by now, but finally on the way. IA is going to try and get to an infestation, but he's got to be very careful with how he uses his resources to get out of Hive.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We haven't seen this through any of the games so far, but there's actually quite a bit of Widow Mines on the map now.
Yeah, transitioning out of tanks is usually not something you see, but I think he was so aware of those Roach transitions from the earlier games that he did want to make sure to get those first. The good news is that Legacy of the Void, both tanks and Widow Mines are totally viable versus both Roaches and Ling Baneling.
Ah, this repair on that turret is really, really good. That drives off the mutas.
Mostly viable. Yeah, very nicely done. You know what's funny too, though? IA hasn't really had to deal with Widow Mines in any of these games. And he might just accidentally, well, either I was going to say float his mutas over Widow Mines, but also these counterattacks could be stopped by them as well.
Oh, no!
Oh, God.
Big Widow Mine hits, a lot of Lings go down.
No, and he's, oh, my God, the miscontrol is so brutal. He could have gone south or north, and he chooses west. Why?
He's got a D-pad. He had like a 50% chance of pressing the right button.
He went the wrong way. I mean, he would have lost all of his Lings, but I thought the mutas at least would have survived.
40 army supply.
Yeah,
I mean, even if every Baneling gets a connection, it's still not going to be enough.
So over-eager with his fanciness, basically. Like, that was a lot to do with just him trying to get those counterattacks in and not working out.
Oh, well, these going to come in. Widow Mines get taken out. Banelings don't get the hits they want. SpeCial has been splitting and microing, and there's been constant focus fire from the auto turrets at the start of the game to the Banelings here at the end of it. This has been such a good finish to this series for our Terran, who started off 0-2 in the series.
Yeah.
As a reminder.
Yeah, I really think there's definitely a part about figuring IA out, but this game was also just a good Macker game from SpeCial.
Well done, well done. Player formerly known as Major. SpeCial will advance on to that round of 8. That's cool to see.
Yes, it is.
Hang on, who's our next player? We'll try and grab SpeCial, a.k.a. Major, for an interview, and maybe we can ask him some questions about the name change. But next up, we're going to have Cham versus Probe. So North America versus some Aussie action.
Aussie.
Probe, by the way, I hope wins so I can bring my camera and justify showing you guys how much he looks like Snoot.
It's not that similar.
It is. It absolutely is. You'd have to be
Skinny
blind.
white guys.
With the same haircut, the same length.
And they're blondes.
All right, you go grab Major. I'm going to get the commercials rolling. We'll see you guys in a couple minutes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you with more WCS Austin when we get back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back from the break. Let me just move this a little bit. It's nice to have another big guy with me. Zomgrab's so tiny. All right, so Major, SpeCial, I Love Altaria. You've gone through like a million names. Right now, you're officially going by SpeCial. Is that the plan?
Yes, that's the plan.
Oh, here, one second. I just got to...
Sorry. That's the plan.
All right, so what's the story behind this? Because you've been through more name changes, I think, than most other people out there.
Well, yesterday I explained it on the main stage, but I'm going to explain it again. My process is that I think this is a new year, and I'm trying really hard this year. I went to Korea. I'm playing a lot of games every day.
You did what? You qualified for GSL. By the way, let me shake your hand on that, man. Good job.
I've been playing a lot of games. I'm practicing a lot, and I thought that one way to help that is just like try it like a new beginning, you know?
Like a fresh slate.
Fresh start, yes.
Okay, that's cool. So I'm gonna try my best not to call you Major then.
It's okay. It's no problem if you call me Major, especially.
Well, you've been known as Major for years at this point. Because this kind of reminds me of when Salvation tried to change to Forte. Like everyone still knew him as Salvation for so long.
Hey, but Forte's better.
Yeah, well, Forte's finally catching on. It just took some time. So maybe SpeCial will eventually become a little bit easier to do.
Yes.
But okay, let's talk about that series, man. That was scary. I know your TVZ is good. I've cast you win some sick TVZs. That started off 0-2. What do you think went wrong there?
Okay, game 1, he caught me really off guard with his play. And I lost a Raven basically for free. Really bad. It happened to me against Lambo too. I don't know. I was very nervous. Sometimes I get very nervous in offline events. I don't know why.
You're a puppy.
So game 1 was just a disaster. Game 2, it was a very good all-in by him because against 2 Ravens, this all-in is very hard to stop. But I managed to stop it. Then I was ahead, but then I don't know. I used derp in better control like the whole game, and I just kind of threw, to be honest.
So when we got to game 3, then were you sweating, man? Were you worried? Like
no, before game 3 started, I started thinking I didn't go to Korea. I don't play 50 games a day just to lose.
Yeah, I was gonna say actually we were talking to Drogo after you had left because you'd already gone back to Mexico, and No Regret and Scarlet, and we were saying like, so who's like the hardest working player in the house? And they all said it was you. Yes. Like you've been training your ass off in Korea.
Yes.
And I think that's really cool because I think in the past, you know, you've been kind of this like loose cannon player, like a guy who does whatever he wants, whenever he wants. So to hear that you've been sticking to a regiment, seeing you qualify for GSL, I think it's already paying off in a really good way.
I think so too. So
how has things been in the house? I've never been there, by the way. How is the house?
It's not perfect, but it's fine. Like it's completely fine.
And you mentioned you're going to try and go back later too, right?
I'm going right after this event because I plan to play GSL and I'm going to stay there for. I don't want to go back to Mexico like that I did this time because I really think it affected me a lot.
Is the practice just that much better in Korea?
Yes, it is.
Now,
at least for me. A big bonus that a lot of people don't understand is that, at least for me, coming to these events, and if I play only in Korea, they have zero information on how I play.
Ah, that's a good point too, yeah.
And I have many information on how people play because I can just watch like online tournaments. I don't play much online tournaments either.
Yeah, you're friends with a lot of the Koreans too.
Yeah, a lot.
Do you do a lot more of like private practice, or do you just grind ladder all day?
I play ladder a lot, but when someone has a match for GSL or SSL, or in my case I do have now, we play custom games.
Okay, so let me ask you this then: with your self-improvement, you're getting better at the game. What matters more to you? Like, would you rather have just like a lot of prize money or a really prestigious win of the name like GSL champion or something?
I would let's put it this way. Let's say this tournament was worth 60K USD, and GSL is like 35. I would rather win GSL just because.
Just because of the bigger name to it?
Yes.
I can respect that, man. That's really cool. Well, I wish you the best of luck for 2017.
Thank you.
And good luck with the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we got to get set up for Cham versus, I think it's Probe, so sit tight. We'll take a couple of minutes here because I got to go hunt Zombie Grub down again and have our cameras be all broken and messed up. Also, I don't know if you guys saw, one of our fans gave us the Cactar little pin here from the Cactus Valley intro. He also gave us some other stuff, but it's digging into my head. I might have to take this off my hat. I'm wearing it out of respect because it's kind of cool, but anyways, Cham and Probe will be coming up here in a moment. So another quick break while I get that set up, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.